Hello. This session is really a beginner's guide to click and collect, and it's part of a suite of webinars for businesses across West Lindsey, East Lindsey, and Boston, with thanks to Destination Lincolnshire. My name's Claire Bailey, and if you haven't watched any of the sessions that are already out there, I'd urge you to do so. Now, if you haven't, then this introduction will be new to you. But if you have, it's the same introduction I've done on every single webinar so far. So my apologies, feel free to fast forward. Like I say, my name's Claire Bailey, and I'm from a family of entrepreneurs dating back for over 150 years. My parents actually had a manufacturing facility in Coningsby with shops in Horncastle, Louth, and Boston, and across the UK. And other members of my family have run pubs, restaurants, bars, hotels, you name it. However, I didn't go into having my own business straight away. I went into corporate, but I did stick in retail, hospitality, and leisure. And then in 2006, I started out on my own. I've had two books published by Kogan Page: The Retail Champion, 10 Steps to Retail Success, which arguably is relevant to any consumer facing business. And it takes the best of corporate processes into a palatable process approach for a small business, and is a tool and technique you can use time and time again. There's 5 mini webinars based on that as well. Then there's How to Sell to Retail. That's more aimed at those businesses who are perhaps designer makers who want to get their products into larger retail chains. I'm also known as a retail expert, a high street commentator as well, for media, nationally, TV, radio, and press. But actually, the crux of what I've been doing for the last 2 years has really been helping businesses to recover from the impact of COVID in the early days, and then to reposition themselves for the new normal, the changed consumer, the way that the post pandemic shopper or consumer behaves is very different to how they were back in 2019, for example. But also, we're facing economic uncertainty yet again. Obviously, we see cost of living crisis, consumer confidence has fallen as a result, and businesses are struggling with the risk of the energy costs, even with the temporary sort of implementation of support. So a lot is going on in the economy, and these sessions are there to help. So what we're going to cover today is how, as a result of the pandemic, click and collect became such an intrinsic expectation. Obviously, it was the only way in the second lockdown that non-essential retailers could really serve customers without having to post things out. And for many, now it's a total expectation. We like click and collect as a country because it means that we can buy something via remote means and then go out and pick it up there and then, probably same day. But we know when we make our journey to the shops that the product we want will be there ready waiting for us. We won't be disappointed. And for other reasons, it's very convenient. The other benefit of click and collect, now the shops obviously have reopened, is that what you do often get is the incremental impulse purchase. So I've done my click and collect order and I go to pick it up. And while I'm there, I might notice something and think, oh, look at that. I actually quite like that. And I buy something else as well. So it's quite a clever way to link your digital sales to your physical sales and uplift customer spend as well. But if it's not something you've done before or perhaps want to do it more effectively, what we're going to look at today is how to make a great experience. And that breaks down into order capture, confirmation, preparation, fulfillment, and after sales. Quite simple, really. So moving swiftly on, let's look at order capture methods and tools. It's very basic, really. You sorry, I'm repeating myself saying this is what we're going to cover. Now we're going to look at order methods, capture and tools. So the order methods, you could have your own e-commerce site. You could use Amazon, eBay, and Etsy and offer customers, when they place an order, the opportunity to come and pick up from you if you have a location physically nearby. You can use social media, whether you're using the social selling sites or just posting product information out there, telling customers that you can put one aside for them, sending them a link to PayPal to send you the money, or taking the payment over the phone and putting it aside. It doesn't have to be the perfect process. It's just about, where do you capture the order? You can do it by email if you wish. You can even take it over the phone. The point is, in all of these channels, is they're not physically present with you. And that's the crux. It doesn't matter how inelegant or sticky tape it is, it's simply that they're not with you. You could even take postal orders if you so wished. So there's your order capture method. They have to place an order. Okay, fine. What happens next? They have to pay. So You receive the order. Unless you have systems that know your stock levels, which I would urge, and there are a couple of webinars about EPOS, e-commerce, and so on, you would have to check first before you actually take payment that you can fulfill the customer's request. So you check stock is available and saleable. Then you're satisfied that the request can be fulfilled. You need to actually then take the payment. You've got loads of different remote payment options. They can phone you and you can put it through on your card machine, PayPal, Bax, you name it. And of course, if they're using e-commerce, chances are you'll have an integrated payment system within there as well. You could even offer to let them pay on collection. Little bit more risky, but if you know your customers well, that's an option to you. Legally, once you've received payment, you do need to provide a receipt. So that leads us on to order confirmation. I've just grabbed a picture of one from American website there. So yeah, a proof of purchase. That gives evidence that you have provided a product to be collected in return for an amount of money demanded. It puts you into the Consumer Rights Act, the Sale of Goods Act, and so on. So the proof of purchase applies to anything where you've received the money. Then you have to consider the fact that distance selling regulations also apply when somebody purchases remotely from you. If they've not been physically present at the point of transaction, then you do have to comply with those, which does give consumers slightly more rights for returns. It can simply be, oh, it doesn't look like it did on the picture. Oh, I don't think I like it anymore. They don't need to give the same reasons that they do need to give under the Consumer Rights Act, which was historically known as the Sale of Goods Act. You must include all the details on a confirmation message, of course, because how else is the customer going to collect? So you need to tell them where the location of collection point is, the hours of operations, when it will be ready, and what they need to do on arrival. So they need to just present their proof of purchase. So now let's say they've done all that, they've gone through the process and they're with you. So order fulfillment and collection. Think about the impression on the customer when they come to your collection point. Probably they will come into the store, but you might actually have a kiosk-based collection point or something else. Some businesses who have heavy products, building materials, large product, animal feed, bring customers round the back into sort of a service yard. But that doesn't necessarily give the greatest possible impression because it can be a little bit messy because it's not where you normally expect your customers to come. So do think about the impression you make on customers at your collection point. Does it represent your brand in a positive way? And could you improve the experience? For instance, instead of bringing them around into a yard where there might be, I don't know, forklifts whizzing around or you know, things in piles ready to be processed through into your warehousing, if you're like a builder's merchant, what more could you do to improve the experience? Could you park them up somewhere else? Could they give their order number to somebody who then phones through to the warehouse, who brings it round to their car or vehicle and loads it for them? Little touches like that make a really profound difference. It just makes life easier and it feels better as a customer. Also, if you're dealing with something small that is going to be packaged, make sure it looks nice. Give them the same service standard they would in a shop. I mean, you wouldn't think of just throwing things into a bag and sort of scrunching the bag up a bit and handing it across. Generally, if you're a boutique retailer or similar, you get a nice bag and you package things, fold things, put tissue, and so on. And you would expect to receive the product in as good a quality manner if you've done it through click and collect as you would in a shop. Also, if you want to make sure that you're taking lots of orders, you keep the parcels in a safe place that are easy to find. You need a system. You need to either have the order number attached to the bag or the customer's name, some method of identification so that when they approach a member of staff, any member of staff can quickly and easily find the parcels. They'll be in the appropriate order, customer name, it's easy to identify, and the customer is not left waiting. And then once you've actually looked at the proof of purchase, off they go. They can leave with their parcel or their purchases. That's not the end. You do have to think about after sales. And that includes the inevitable returns and refunds that will happen, more so with distance selling regulation. Although with click and collect, you can ask them to check that they're happy with their purchases before they go. They might not want to do so. I mean, if it's clothing, they might want to wait till they get home. They might want to try a jacket on with something else that they already own. So you can't force that. You can encourage it maybe. So this little image I've got here is a sticker I found online, and it's the sort of thing that I think that would be really nice if you were making a parcel, whether it be for online transaction or click and collect, to put something like that on the parcel, and it costs a penny or so per sticker. So I think doing something like that goes a really long way, and also going a little bit further, asking them if they've had a great experience, please leave us a review. And if it wasn't so good, please tell us what we can do better next time. That's, like I said, the images stickers you can buy online. The reviews are really powerful. Whatever tools you use, whether it be Facebook, Google My Business, whatever's best for you. If you're in hospitality and you're doing click and collect for meals or cakes and so on, a lot of places now are doing catering to provide as an ordered product alongside operating a cafe or restaurant. A beauty salon could sell product as easily as any retailer if somebody wants some hair care products but doesn't need to have an actual treatment. But you can do this, but wherever is best for you to put the review, it could be TripAdvisor. So just make sure you're encouraging positive reviews. And always when it's a remote purchase, you should expect more returns, because if they haven't had the chance to experience the product, it's very normal. And therefore, you must have a process for handling returns. What if they've clicked and collected, but they want to post it back? Is that a possibility? Would you make them pay for postage? Would you pay for it? Or would you expect them to bring it back into the store? And one of the most important things that customers gripe about is the speed by which refunds are processed. To avoid any customer complaints, if they're asking for a refund, probably something's not quite right, or maybe they just don't like it. But ideally, if you process the refund on the day of the return, generally customers will be very satisfied with that. So, in a whirlwind tour, to sum up, we need to make sure you do a quality method of order capture, and then confirmation: is the stock, take payment, tell the customer. Preparation: is it the best way of making that order available? Fulfillment and collection point: what's the whole customer experience looking like when they come to collect? And what happens if things don't go well? But I think most of all, just offer a great service, a service that stacks up to your brand and to what your customers have come to expect from you. So that's it from me. If you need any help with anything like this or any other aspects of your business, my contact details are on the screen. Thanks to West Lindsey, East Lindsey and Boston, my time is funded through Destination Lincolnshire to offer business support to businesses in our community. And I have a team of people who work with me who can tackle particular specialist subjects or provide training and support if necessary. So don't hesitate to get in touch, and I look forward to hearing from you in due course. Thank you for listening.